So, welcome to Value Scales. And I know earlier today we started this lesson and there was definitely some tech issues. I've spent a few hours trying to figure this out. So, before I get back to this page of where we kind of left off today, I'm going to flip over to this page right here and explain exactly how to create these little boxes, and I'm just going to kind of get started on this project again because why not? So what I did in order to create these rows of boxes is I took my ruler, right, and I placed it somewhere on the paper high up, and then I took my pencil and I just created two lines on either side of the ruler, knowing that this is not an inch thick, but that's okay. And then I just dropped it, did it again, did it again, did it again. So I had 4 bars across. And then to create these little boxes, I went ahead and laid my ruler down, and then I marked off the 1-inch spots on this top part only. Because our paper is only 12 inches long and our ruler is 12 inches long, we do not have to go through and mark off all these little boxes because that would just take a lot of time that we don't need to expend. So I went ahead and dropped down here, right, on that last line, and I also found all my little inch marks down there. So in order to create my boxes, I laid my ruler across the top line where the dot is to the bottom line where the dot is, and I did a line and then another line, keeping this space in between them open so that I can have clear separation. And I did that all the way across until I have 9 little boxes. So if I really want to create 1-inch boxes, I can actually come back in here and put a dot right here where the 1 inch is, because the 1 inch is sitting on this bottom line. And then on my last one too, another inch like that. And then, if I really want to get fancy, right? And now I've created the little top part, and I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I think I'm going to create that on all of them, because why not? Okay, so now I have my 4 different rows, and this top one is going to be blended, right? So I'll put blending because that's the technique. Then this row will be scumbling. Then this row will be, and then this last row will be cross hatching. And because this is my assignment, I think it's best if we start the practice now of including our names on the top part of our paper. I usually write my name on the upper right-hand side. Value Scales. There you go. Okay. So what we're going to do to create our value scales is we're going to be using our 6 different pencils that were provided from the school. We have our 6B, our 4B, our 2B, regular B, HB, and 2H. Okay. If you need your sharpener or your eraser nearby, I highly suggest that you take it and you make sure you have it. So for the start of this, we're going to go ahead and get started with our darkest value right here. And that's going to be our 9, and this is going to be blending. So in order to blend, I'm going to lay my pencil down on its side. So notice how I'm not holding it straight up and down like if I was writing a sentence or drawing these lines, but I'm holding it on its side. You can even hold it like this. And we're going to fill this in the blackest black that we can fill it in. You can even come in at different directions. So using that 6B, I'm going to be able to create a really nice dark scale. Trying to get as close to the edge as I can without falling off. So with my 6B, I've created a really nice dark area. I'm going to drop that 6B and I'm going to go with the 4B now. And I'm going to create the next step up. And I'm going to push kind of hard too because I want this to be dark also. Not as dark as the 9, but just a shade lighter. So that goes from 8 to 9. Now let's take care of 7. I'm going to drop this 4B. I'm going to go with the 2B, which is one of my favorite pencils. So if I need to make 8 darker, I can always go back and make it darker. It's hard once you start kind of pressing with these pencils. It's hard to definitely go back and make different items lighter. Unless you have like a really, really good eraser, but that's why I'm saying always start with the dark side and then go to the light side. Actually, I'm looking at 8 and I feel like it's going to need to be a little darker, so I'm going to grab my 4B again. One, just push down a little harder. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my, oh, I still have my 2B. Let's do the 2B again. I'm going to go a little bit lighter than I did with 7. My pencil. It's okay if you get a little outside the lines, you can always go back and erase things. Make that a little darker. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my B pencil. Cover that. And our goal is to create even boxes throughout. This is my 2B. I'm going to make 6 a little shade darker. It's too close to 7 now, so once again, 4B. Make that one just a little bit darker. And then, yeah. All right. And then with the B, I'm also going to lightly come into 4. Notice that I've never used my finger to smudge any of this graphite around. You don't want to do that because your fingers have oils and you don't want to leave smudge marks. All right, now with my HB, I'm going to come into number 3. Actually, I'm going to have to sharpen that because my pencil is really low. And then sorry, and here I go back to shading. Don't use my finger. I almost used my finger. I don't want to use my finger. So that's 3. And now for 2 and 1, I'm going to use this 2H pencil. And this is going to be even lighter. And actually 1, we're going to leave paper white. So we're not going to put anything on 1. This was a 2H. This was a B, B, 2B. This was the 6B. This was the 4B, 4B, 2B. And I don't know if you guys can see that, so let me write that in with a darker pencil. So 2H, B, B, 2B, 4B, 4B, and 6B. And I'm going to use the same pencils that I used for up here down here for these different styles. So since I have a 6B in my hand right now, I'm going to go ahead and start off with my scumbling, which is basically controlled scribbling, okay? And this technique is going to go outside the lines a little, and you may not get it completely filled in, but this is something that we use for lots of beautiful texture. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, and I will speed along by fast forwarding the video. Okay, so as you can see, even myself, I went ahead and made a mistake, so I erased it, and I think that I made a mistake up here because this should have been my HB pencil, not just my B pencil. All right, and with that being said, I'm going to make sure to be more careful when I am going through this. So mistakes happen. I went back and fixed it. Okay. Now we're going to continue with hatching. So you can see here that the lines get further away and closer together to create our darker value. Like if I shade that a bit, you can kind of see it a little bit more. And then our last one is similar to hatching, except for it's cross hatching. Okay, so there you have it. You have your values scales, and I know the lighting on them is a little different, and I feel like sometimes when I mess around with the lights, it gets a little weird. So bear with me. I will take a finished picture of this, and you know, I always forget to do this, but today's date is September 9th. And I always feel like on a little worksheet like this, it's nice to include the date. Even on your regular artworks, it's nice to include the date. I usually put it on the back, maybe the year on the front. And that way when you turn it in, I know it's yours because your name is on it and the dates, and then it says value scales. Thank you, and thank you for your patience on my tech issues.